Ramblings, Mythics, how are we? Yes, it's another Saturday morning. It's 10 o'clock UK time, there or thereabouts. I don't think we're too late this morning. My name is Ken Boyter and I am your host and your storyteller of Edra Scrolls, Ramblings of a Storyteller. Well, today it's Ramblings of Essen Spiel, or Spiel Essen, which is the massive, massive games convention over in Germany. But before I tell you about that, let me introduce you to Loquacious. If you've watched the channel regularly, you know Loquacious. Loquacious is a mischievous imp from The Bottled Imp, which is another YouTube channel that I run with my friend Julian. It's The Bottled Imp. Check it out if you love fantasy, if you love fancy board game reviews, fancy film reviews, or fancy book reviews. It's all there, over 450 videos. Talking of YouTube, yes, every one of these live streams on Twitch goes straight over to the Edra Tales YouTube channel. So if you miss any of these, you can always catch up by going to the YouTube's Edra Tales. Check it out. Good morning, Sally. How are you? How are you? I hear you've got a fun packed day today. Yes, my little birdie's told me. Well, you actually texted me, so I knew what was going on. Yes, he's back. Hello, Jonathan. How are you, sir? Yes, I am back. And as you can tell, I've got a bit of a cough and a bit of a cold. So this morning's going to be fun. Yes, I also did a murder mystery last night. It was a private event. And foolishly, I signed up to do a murder mystery tonight as well. So I've got 2 murder mysteries. So after this, I'm going to be learning my lines for tonight. How was, Essen? Concrud, yeah, you probably get that, don't you? Because you're talking to a lot of people for 4 days, 3 or 4 days. And although you're just literally standing and explaining stuff, it's tiring. It's very tiring. Oh, so I hope I don't cough my way through this. Good morning, Lee Rin, or good evening, I should say. How are you? Off to the first light of the 1 month. Oh, hang on. Off to the first night of the 1 month Bruce Lee Film Festival in 4K. 4K. Starting with him defeating Chuck Norris in the Colosseum in Way of the Dragon. Starting in an hour. Oh, well, fantastic. I hope you enjoy that. That sounds amazing. 4K, really. Bruce Lee deserves 4K, doesn't he? You imagine if he was around now, that each film that he did would be like crystal clear. Concrete, yeah. Well, I think Jonathan means by that, well, Jonathan can answer himself, obviously, but it's just that you're just so knackered after the convention because you're talking to so many people. You know, you just get ill, you get run down. Yeah, so I've had to do a murder mystery last night, you know, and I was, you know, tight recovering from Essen. I had to learn the lines. I had other stuff to do as well, though. And, oh, see, makes sense, yeah. Concrud equals post-convention lurgy, yeah. Yeah. So someone on Outset Media stand that I was part of, yeah, a couple of days after the convention said, oh, sorry, I'm coming down with a cold, hopefully I didn't give it to anyone. And we're like, well, I don't think anyone gave it to anyone. I think it is just that being run down. So yes, Spiel Essen was amazing. It was massive. It was massive. UK Games is big. It is big. There's no denying it. Gen Con is bigger. I would say at least double, maybe a little bit more. But this is just my rough impression of it. Obviously, this is not empirical measurements. Spiel Essen is at least double the size of Gen Con. It's crazy. They had 7 full halls that were massive. 7. Plus they had an 8th hall that they used for the press day. So on the day before it opens to the public, a whole day, they have lots and lots of tables in there, and it was packed. It was packed. It must have been over 200, maybe 300 stalls in there. It's just given over to the press, so it's a whole day's worth. What was it? 10 till 5. And as I was there with Guildlands, and we had to be there. I don't know. I think it was 11 till 1. Yeah, I think it was 11 till 1. We had to be there if they, from 11 to 1. But after that, we didn't actually have to be on the stand. So I think they tell the press, if you want to talk to somebody about their game, then get there from 11 till 1. After that, there's no guarantee they're going to be on the stand. Hello, Martha. Sneaks up behind me and says, boo. Good morning. Like half-term illness. Yes, absolutely, Sally. Oh, thanks, Sally. Got my 1970s styles Tyrone root beer and chips ready. Nice. No disco pants and the mullet, I'm afraid. Oh, that is disappointing. And Spell Sing, how are you? How are you? Well, I was just saying, I've got this cold because I've just spent a week in Germany at the massive, massive games convention Spiel Essen. End of termitis. Yeah, of course, because Jonathan was a teacher. Yeah, so it was crazy mad. But before we talk about Essen fully, just want to give you a little update on To Kill a Thief. So we are on the very, very last major proofreading. Sally has agreed to proofread it one more time after I'd done Claire's changes, Julian's playtesting changes, and other people's playtesting changes. Julian did a bit of proofreading, Sally's original proofreading, my obviously bit of proofreading. So I've combined everything into one folder now, so I printed it all out, and that is the manuscript, hopefully, as it's going to go to print. But Sally is giving it one last cast of her beady eye, and she has found a few things already. So I think Sally's about 150 entries in, I'm not 100% sure, on the last proofread before I then send it off to the printer to get a sample copy. Now that's very important because I don't want to just order, I don't know how many, like 200 copies, and then I notice there's a mistake because I didn't get a sample copy. So although it delays the process, it's absolutely crucial. So it's surprising how many there still are. I know, it's crazy, isn't it? So when I write, I tend to hopefully proofread it first myself, but I'm not claiming to be able to spot everything. And then, what's that? Gush tai hair butter. Exactly that, Jonathan. Somebody always gets con flu. Yeah, absolutely, Martha. That's hopeful. I'm about 65. Oh, okay. So Sally's on 65 entries out of 407. Okay. So, but I still think it's important to do, even if it's delaying the process longer, because people are going to be happier that they've had the delay, but everything's a little bit more closer to perfection than if you rush something and it's riddled with mistakes and it's broken, playtesting. I just feel like people want to wait a bit more. Well, they've got no choice. They're going to have to wait, unfortunately. They're quite long entries. I know, Sally, I know. It's nearly 100,000 words. Oh, there's quite a few. Oh, okay, so apparently there's quite a few. But that's bonkers, isn't it? Because Sally's proofread it, Julian's proofread it, I proofread it, Claire's proofread it, and now Sally's doing one last proofread, and she's still finding more. So, it's crazy. Anyway, I'm off to town. Have a good day, everybody. Yes, enjoy your day as well, Sally. Thank you for popping in and giving us an update on the entries that you're on. You're about 65. So hopefully Sally, remember Sally does work, she works part-time, but she works as a teacher, so obviously she does do work at home as well, even outside her allotted hours. So Sally would probably take her a week, maybe 2 weeks, probably 2 weeks to proofread it all. But I am going to be doing a proper update on oh, dear me, sorry about that. on what's it, Kickstarter. Hardly part-time. Well, no, that's what I mean. You're part-time, but you work, you know, all hours. You get paid part-time anyway. Yes, enjoy the rest of the day. So, I'm going to give an update, and yeah, next time I do a game book, it's going to be shorter. It's going to be half the length, so it doesn't take me as long to produce and get to people. In fact, I'm thinking of doing what Jonathan's going to do, which is write the game book before the Kickstarter starts, if I can do that. Because that way it's less pressure. That's what we did with the first deck of Story Spark cards. We did it all before the actual launch, and then we just spent like a month or so proofreading and things like that, and then we just got it off to the printers. So they got it in about 2 months, 3 months. So even if I wrote the whole thing and maybe didn't do the illustrations, you know, or didn't, but if the actual writing gets done before the Kickstarter starts, then at least you're ahead of the game, and then it just needs to go through the play testing and also the proofreading. So that would cut down. So I'd probably be able to deliver it in 5 or 6 months. Anywho, so that is To Kill a Thief. Thank you once again for your patience, for everyone that's backed that so far. Yes, Spiel Essen. For those of you who don't know, Spiel Essen is sort of like the Oscars of the board game community. If you win an award, if one of your games wins an award there, you know, that elevates you as a designer and presumably a publisher. And it's massive. And it's in a place called Essen, which I believe is in the east of Germany. I didn't really look it up, but it's in the east of Germany. And it felt like it was in the east of Germany as well. It's in a sort of industrial area, and so there are very stark buildings, let's put it that way. And the hotel we stayed in was massive. They had 400 rooms. I think they said over 400 rooms. But 400 rooms, so it was a massive hotel, but it was a weird hotel, because I was in floor 3, but it wasn't the floor. Floor 3, like 351 I think I was in. That's actually on the first floor. So the actual, we have a numbering system. The first number is obviously the floor it's on. That wasn't the case. And also it was split. So you'd go up one flight of stairs, or the lift, and then you'd have to walk across, and then you'd go up another flight of stairs. But the lift didn't take you straight up, so even if you got the lift, you'd still have to go over to this other area and go up the flight of stairs, or get another lift to that floor. And then when you got there, then there was sort of that even wasn't where that wasn't all like 3. There was like 2, and it's like, oh, there's 3, and so 3 was like a corridor. So it seems like they area it off. So you're in area 1, which could be anywhere on the hotel, I guess. Area 2, which could be anywhere in the hotel, and area 3. So it was very confusing. So anyway, that's the hotel. But yeah, so it was fine. It was functional. It was fine. The breakfast was a bit rubbish, though. No full English breakfast, obviously, because we're not in England, Ken. What am I expecting? Yeah, but the only hot thing you had was greasy bacon and a little bit of scrambled egg. What was that? Everything else was cold meats. And anyway, the orange juice and apple juice was nice. But they did have lovely, lovely cheese. That was lovely. So, yeah, the other thing was that it was a 20-minute walk. And so the first day, because people had gone before, so I was very kindly asked by Outset Media, who's the publisher of Guildlands, and Kedrick and I's first game, The Crooked Crown. They very kindly flew me over there, all expenses paid, so I can't really complain. All expenses paid, really nice of them to do that, for me to then promote and demo the game. And of course they said, oh yeah, it's just like a 15-minute, 20-minute walk. Okay, so we set off, and then we got down to where they normally go, and they went, oh, they've knocked the bridge down. So we're kind of walking along this dual carriageway, and it, you know, it'd been blocked off really to pedestrians. So we just carried on though, and then they went, oh yeah, they've not. So so apparently you'd go up the bridge and cross over the dual carriageway. So we had to go down this like really narrow, dangerous dual carriageway, and then kind of do the normal route. So the new route though added another 10 minutes onto the route. So you might think, well, it's only a half an hour walk. Yes, however, if you are absolutely knackered and maybe you got a bag full of games or whatever, half an hour each way is tough. But that said, if it was raining, they offered us taxis anyway, so I'm making it sound harder than it was. But there was one day where I wanted to go back to the hotel to use the swimming pool. There's a swimming pool, a sauna, and a steam room. So about, when was it? I don't know, about 7 o'clock? No, it's about 5 o'clock. I went off back to the hotel. So I'd walked half an hour in the morning, half an hour back to the hotel, got the swimming pool for myself, got the steam room for myself, got the sauna for myself, and then, spent about an hour and a half, and then walked back into town because we were invited to Longpack, who are a manufacturer. They do printing of a lot of their games. So I walked back again, went out to this party, had a lovely time. It was all free food, and free beer. So that was Schmeikerschnonna, as the Germans say. That was amazing. And then walked back again. I think we walked back, or did we get the taxi? I can't remember. But anyway, I'd walked like over an hour and a half that day, as well as being on the stand. So no wonder I'm, groggy. Lieberins put, does the fabled German crisp apple strudel as sung in Sound of Music taste delicious? Well, unfortunately, I didn't really eat too much German stuff. I just didn't eat much, and I just ate at restaurants, and I mainly had the burger. Now, that wasn't because I don't want to try German food or anything like that, but sometimes I just wanted stodgy food, because I didn't really eat at lunchtime. I didn't really have a breakfast. So yeah, next time if I do go, then obviously I might search out some of the German treats, because they did have, as I say, it was massive. So there was 7 halls full of exhibitors and demo areas, but also like dividing halls 1, 2 and 3 from 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8 was this like long covered, so it was indoor but it was outdoor, sort of runway thing that had food trucks all the way down. So they were selling stuff like that and German delicacies and treats and kebabs, I guess, like proper food, street food basically, as well as dotted throughout some of the halls, their actual cafeterias. So that was pretty cool. But the first time I looked round was, when we were setting up the stall, the stand before the public got there, and I walked round every single hall just to see how big it was. I was knackered, and that was without anybody there. It was just So we have massive companies, huge companies like Hasbro, Asmodee. Who else was there? All the biggies. I can't think of them now. But also then right down to really niche, like just independent publishers as well, which I think is amazing. I think that's really, really cool. Because, if you've launched, say, a Kickstarter, they're not snobbish as long as you can afford like a little, they'll give you a little stand, obviously, because there's no point in a massive stand. So they'll give you a little stand, but yeah, you can still be competing, with the big boys. So that was cool. And our stand wasn't massive, so it's the first time Outset Media have actually been to Essen. So it was all a big, massive learning curve for them. And so we got a stand that I think was something like 6 meters by 4. 2 demo tables, 2 kind of long demo tables that you could sit 6 round, and then 8 if you put chairs on either end. And then they had these sort of plinths that were square, fairly biggish, that you could demo smaller games as well. Hello, Danu. Hello, how are you? I'm very well, thanks. Well, I've got a bit of a cold. just rambling on about Spiel Essen, the massive, massive board game convention in Germany. I was very lucky to be taken to demo Guildlands, which is a game, one of my games I co-created with Kedrick, by Outset Media. So I did a lot of promotion. Good, I'm glad you're fine. Good, good. I don't know if anyone else has gone to Essen, Spiel Essen, but, you know, if you have, let me know in the comments. I see your Facebook about Bishop. Yes. Oh, you saw them. Yeah, excellent. It was Nive. Nive? It was live? What does Nive mean? Sorry, I think that's a typo there. It was nice. It was nice. Nice. There we go. Worked it out. Yeah, so no worries. It was nice. Oh, cool. I'm glad you enjoyed those. Yeah, it was nice. Did you sell many games? I think we did. Lost track. I don't speak good English. Your English is fine, Danu. Seriously, to be able to correct yourself like that is amazing. I mean, I don't speak any other languages apart from foolishness. That's the other language I speak. Yes, I think, well, not as much as Gen Con because we had a smaller booth. And the thing with Guildlands is because it plays in about 45 minutes, the turnover of the amount of demos you can do is small if you've only got two. It's the only language that's correct. You know, I'm not going to argue with that, Jonathan. Because we only had 2 demo tables, I just knew we weren't going to sell as many as Gen Con. I think we sold about 180 at Gen Con, which doesn't sound a massive amount considering how many people go, but if you then take into account at Gen Con there was 500 new games launched, so that's new games. We were in that category for Gen Con. but people still have the choice of the other games that are out there as well. At Essen, I think there was something like 700 games. No, hang on. Yeah, no, 700 games launched at Gen Con. Sorry, at Essen. 500 at Gen Con, 700 at Essen. So, you know, you're amazed if you sell any copies, to be honest. Even though there's a lot of people, I think they had a record attendance of 220,000 people. But of course, they've got so many options. There's so many games out there, which is great, but it is very difficult to sell massively unless you're on a big stand with a hot game that everybody wants. But the nice thing about it, Gen Con and ours, and Essen, was buzz started to happen again. So after the first day, we had a couple of people come back saying, oh yeah, my friend played this yesterday, I'd like to play it. Or my friend played it yesterday and we played it last night, I'd like to buy a copy. So sometimes we did get sales off of other sales, if you like, without them having to demo it. And as each day passed, that happened more and more. So, and it did make someone's like top hot games of Essen while they were there on Board Game Geek, because I did ask, because how did you find out about Guildlands? I said, oh well, I saw it on a list on Board Game Geek about the games you must try, you know, while you're at Essen. So, you know, it's word of mouth, isn't it? Martha says here is got to go to Game Club. See you later. Thank you for popping in, Martha. Enjoy your Game Club. I'm sure you're going to have lots and lots of fun. D&D, probably. Enjoy it. Thank you for popping in. It's lovely to see you. I'm glad everything's okay. And that you're out and about today, because in real life takes... What's the word? Precedence. I can't say that word. Yeah, so... That's the word. Precedence. Dense. It's dense, not dance. Precedence. Thank you, Jonathan. Always the teacher. Passing on his knowledge. His seed of knowledge. Nice honey tea for my throat. Yeah, so... There was loads of casting its seed on all and sundry, whether they like it or not. It's a hard life being a teacher. Casting his seed far... Right, anyway, let's stop that. So, yeah, Essen was mad, really busy, but then Gen Con and UK Games is really busy. I think for me the massive difference that I did notice more, I mean UK is relatively international, but at Essen it's really international. There are, you know, from more smaller countries, but then you've got the big companies. There's, you know, China. I even think there were Russian publishers there. I'm not sure. I might be making that up. But there was, you know, it just felt very international. I know UK Games can feel like that. Gen Con, little smattering of international. You know, still you had the big boys that were international. But it just felt very international. Because really, as I say, Spiel Essen was kind of the first modern board game hobbying convention to really take off, as far as I'm aware. So it has that appeal that, yeah, you have to be there. If you're a publisher, you have to be there. And also, the main difference for me is the amount of networking that seems to go on there, and maybe not so much on the other ones. But I don't know. I'm very new to being a published designer. Lirin has put a funny thing about romantic language, Italian, French, Spanish, Portuguese, is that English had borrowed so much from Romantic tongue to evolve from Germanic to its present form. I like this. It's easier for an English speaker to pick up Romantic language than its ancestor German. Yeah, I'd go along with that, absolutely, yeah, because we do have a smattering of foreign language, well, foreign to us anyway, language in our language. You know, we have little phrases that we have literally just pinched from those countries. So yeah, I'd go along with that. Yeah, absolutely. Does that make us romantic? You know, you could argue that. Jonathan spreading his seed. That's romantic, isn't it? It's not. For those of you in any doubt, it's not. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, I like that. It's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, so networking seemed to be very prevalent, and for me, I made some very, very good contacts, and just nice people, just chatting to people. You know, I wasn't really trying to network, but you just start chatting about games and maybe designing games and publishers, and then you just kind of go, oh yeah, well, do you want to swap business cards? You know, so it was really good for that. But let me show you some games. Modern English does sound more sentimental and musical than the hard and pragmatic modern German. Anyway, yes, I would definitely agree. So, let's crack on then. So, this game, Ghost Lift, seemed to catch the eye of a lot of people. Mainly, I would imagine, because of the artwork. The artwork is gorgeous. And the artwork is by I don't know how you pronounce it, S-A-I, Say, and it's Beppu, B-E-P-P-U, and the designer is One Gear. I don't know if that's a person or a company, but it's Onegear, O-N-E-G-E-A-R. So that's actually an English sort of two words smashed together. Now, the reason why I was interested in this was I was listening to the Dice Towers games to anticipate, and this came up, Ghost Lift. And the reason why I'm definitely interested in it is because Kedrick and I are actually designing a lift game, an elevator game. And we had the idea at Gen Con. So we looked on BGG, and there was only one game previously that was a lift game. So we thought, oh, it's an untapped area, it's an untapped theme. Then while we were at Gen Con, Kedrick found a lift game, and we're like, oh no. So we looked at it, Kedrick bought it, it's called Up and Down, and it's like a trick-taking game, so it's not like our lift game. So we're like, okay, that's fine. So then when I see this, I'm like, no, it's another lift game, what's going on? We're the ones with the lift idea, not anyone else. So we are riding, it seems like a spate of lift games will be coming out, just coincidentally. And get this, so I found this, and then I posted this up onto my Facebook, into some board game groups. And, oh no, it was Blue Sky. I posted up onto Blue Sky. And the artist, Say Beppu, sort of commented on my photo and said, "Oh, fantastic," that she had done the artwork. And I went, "Oh, that's great, you know, I really like it, it's beautiful." And then she said, "Yeah, I did another lift game for a different company, different designer," and she said, "I've done it as a different style of artwork because obviously I don't want them to look similar because they're both lift games about a haunted lift. And that other one's coming out in January. So what is going on?" That's just in the zeitgeist. Get me with my German. But isn't that bizarre? Especially as she's done 2 lift games, the same artist. I would have thought a publisher would not want the same artist to do the lift game unless they just coincidentally hired her without knowing she was doing one for the other one. But anyway, so yeah, so I'm going to try and track down the one in January that comes out. I suspect it's going to be, it plays differently to our one as well. So there you go. But the one cool, well, I haven't played it yet. I hope I'm going to play it Sunday. But you do get little ghost tokens as well, which are pretty cool. So that is Ghost Lift. Then we've got another little game called Makoto, which we were very lucky to be invited to that publisher's, well, I was anyway, party. They just hired out the same bar as Long Pack the next night. Free food, free booze. And so, yeah, and then what they'd done, though, they'd left little games on the tables. So Paul, who was from Outset, said, go on, you know, you have that game. So I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. So I have no idea what it's about. However, the artwork looks beautiful. So I do hope to play this as well. They've got 3 languages there. But if I show you the artwork, look at that. That's gorgeous artwork. Oh, I've cut my nails. Can I rip into this? Oh, I don't think I can. Yeah, so anyway, gorgeous artwork. So I'm looking forward to playing that. And then we have this. Look, this was a spur of the moment buy. I bought this one. Black Dragon's Guild. Now, obviously, Guildlands, I'm interested in guilds. I do like sort of fantasy, obviously. That's my main theme. And this just looks pretty cool. It's both in German and English. In Black Dragon's Guild, you play as an aspiring guild leader. Select your companions to form a party of adventurers. Visit places in the city and complete quests to increase your reputation. It doesn't matter whether you're good or evil. The most important thing is you believe in your potential. At the end of the game, the player with the highest reputation will be titled the new guild master. So I like the sound of that. So I think that was something like €20. It might have been a bit more, 25. So that's cool. And then Kedrick wanted to, because Kedrick couldn't make Essen, so he suggested getting that for him. Shall We Dance, which is nice, delightful sort of 1920s sort of flat design cards. I'm assuming it's a trick-taking game. Tonight, the ballroom sparkles with ladies and gentlemen in their finest attire. Find a dance partner and step onto the dance floor. The unique Shall We Dance rules allow you to invite partners from across the floor and makes for a lively game. Watch out, sometimes you'll gain a partner and sometimes your opponent will whisk one away. A simple yet strategic game of charm, timing and invitation awaits. So that sounds pretty cool, but that one's Kedrick's. Oh, by the way, I'm going to roll call in a couple of weeks. Oh, here we go. Extraordinaire. Best views, steambow.com. Remove the space. Thanks for that. Appreciate that. Blue Penguin. Again, this was a little freebie that was just left on one of the tables. So Paul said for me to grab that. Again, this was another one, hands off. This look, I wouldn't naturally go for this sort of game, but Paul just said go and take it. So I thought, all right, why not? This game obviously caught my appeal. If anyone's been following my Facebook posts or Blue Sky posts, I post up pictures of me with a little goblin. It's goblins. Now, of course, I'm interested because of the crooked crown. We've got goblins. So, goblins, it's actually roblins because it's a 2-player game. It's area control, and you're trying to rob the other goblin clan. So basically, it's roblins. Which is pretty clever. And, again, this was a small publisher, and the designer was on the stand, actually, behind the tills. So I think he was part of the company, that he maybe co-created the company or whatever. But I got chatting to him, and I did say to him, look, I designed a Goblin game as well. I'll send you a copy. And he went, oh, how much do I owe you? And no, just have it. I'll gladly send you one for free. Because I just thought it's a nice thing to do. Make friends with games. That's basically it. They steal from the rich and keep it for themselves. So, yeah. So I'm going to send off a game for him. This one was interesting. I got chatting to the owner, co-creator and writer of these, Cryptic Killers. Turns out he lives in Essex. So it's great. So we're going to meet up afterwards, just have a chat. I just had a chat with him because it was before it was open to the public. And I just saw the stand and I saw him, I didn't know who he was, I just saw him sitting there, on his phone. And I just put my head and just went, hi there, just want to say I really love playing some of these because I've already played about 3 of these and they're really good. And so we got chatting, we talked about my murder mystery game and all of that. So it's really cool. This one, Ember Heart. This was hot. This is the hot one. Ember Heart, designed by a designer that has a YouTube channel that I've been following called Adam in Wales. Now, you might have heard me mention him before. It's a nice worker placement game with dragons, so everybody likes that. You play as brave champions competing for glory by opposing poachers and rescuing dragons. Who doesn't want to do that in a board game? So that's pretty cool. So that really was what I was going over to buy. I thought that would be it. I thought that's what I'm going to get. But I've ended up with all these other games. This one, Severton. This one is from Albi, and it is based on, it's a Polish game. It's in English as well, I hope, yes. And it's a cooperative game, and you play it's almost like the Famous Five, but brutal. The Famous Five sort of meets, I don't know, what's something really brutal? Breaking Bad. It's like Famous Five meets Breaking Bad. And they're based on a Polish set of comics and then books called Rapid Arrows. That apparently was huge in Poland. So if you live in Poland, you will know what Rapid Arrows are. And this looks really cool. So you go around the board, you're kind of looking for this mysterious, overarching story, but there are little side quests going on. So that looks amazing. And then Paul, the cheeky monkey. I don't know where he got this from. I think he was given this because Paul's, part of Outset Media. And I think publishers just go, do you want a game? Do you want a game to each other just to keep everyone happy? And so Paul just said, oh, do you want this game? So I went, all right then. It's a massive beast. Thebai, I don't know how you pronounce it. How do you pronounce that? The Bayer. The Bayer. But yeah. Dark times looms over the key. Oh, Thebes. Dark times loom over the kingdom of Thebes. The blind old king. So is this part of mythology? Like proper mythology? It sounds like it. Oedipus left the throne in disgrace and asked Polynices and Ectocluscus, his own sons, to rule the city together. But power corrupts and ancient feuds call for new blood to be spilled. It sounds like it's based on is it Roman gods? Or, I really should know is it Greek mythology? Doesn't actually say. Yeah, it looks like it is. Yeah, the Citadel of Thebes. Yes, this sort of those names. Greek, there we go. Yeah, the names do ring a bell. It's easy for me to say. Greek, Lyrian also confirmed as Greek. Yeah, so look at this bad boy. Look how fat this one is. And it's the heaviest game that I've got. Or is it? Or is it? Because Paul was given another game that he gave me, which is fantastic. So thank you very much, Paul. Tea Garden. Tea Garden, again, another Albi one. Which was on my sort of long list of games to get, but I didn't want to spend too much money. But Paul managed to get a copy, so that was fantastic. So, the sharp peaks of mountains of Yunnan have begun to turn green with peculiar plant. Whispers speak of its miraculous properties, capable of mending the body and invigorating the soul. No wonder its cultivation is spreading like wildfire to other provinces. Oh, that's really cool, like the discovery of tea. Oh, hello, darlings, indeed. Hello, Jam, how are you? Did you take an empty suitcase with you? Pretty much, yes. So it's not Paul's first rodeo, so he takes 2 empty suitcases with him. So we just basically loaded it up in his suitcases. But next year, if I do go, I'm gonna bring a bigger suitcase for myself as well. So that is all the games, basically. So I was expecting to come back with Emberheart and possibly Ghost Lift if I could find it, and if there was still stocks left. And that was it. But I ended up with a lot more than I bargained for, which some might say is a good thing. No, it is. It's a good thing. It's very kind of Paul to give me some games and to just get freebies because I went to some, parties from publishers. So that's really cool. So, yeah. So, and then on top of that, so it's really cool just finding out about new games. It's really cool chatting to new people and networking, and just talking about games and networking, that's great. Also, I tracked down the Dice Tower because Dice Tower gave us 8 out of 10. Tom gave it 8 out of 10 and Joey gave it 7.5 out of 10, but it did qualify for a seal of approval. So Paul at Outset Media got loads of stickers stickered, and we put oh dear, excuse me, we put stickers on the front of each Guildland's seal of approval. So that was amazing. So I actually had one on my waistcoat as well. So I thought, yeah, I'll track down Dice Tower because they had a stand there. Hang on. Oh, I've got a murder mystery tonight as well. I have some Lemsip. I will have some Lemsip after this. And then, so I went down to the booth. And Tom happened to be there, which was great. And he was demoing a little game. So I waited after he demoed the game, and then I went, "Hi, Tom." And he recognised me because I've, done the bottle dip and stuff like that. Oh dear. Might have to end this soon. Not, I didn't mean, but the live stream. Just a wee selfish bit. Oh, what's that? Kickstarter. Oh, yes. Jam's got a new Kickstarter out. You took advantage of me coughing and stuttering. Oh, I've eaten all my cough sweets. Oh. So check out Jam's new Kickstarter. I didn't get my acting gear to do it this year, but next year I'll be doing one. But yeah, check out Jam's Kickstarter. Which I've yet to do so, but I will do so when I get a moment. What was I going to say? So chat to Tom, and when he looked at me, he went, "Oh," and I went, "Yeah, Guildlands," and he went, "Oh yeah, Guildlands." His face lit up. His little face lit up. Which was amazing. And we chatted about the game for about 5-10 minutes. I've eaten all my cough sweets as part of a controlled diet. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can't have any more today. That is it. Spider's got... Oh, yeah, it feels like it. And then, so we chatted about the Guildlands for about 5-10 minutes. I also teased Tom about the name because he said he didn't like the name. And I said, well, you've designed board games. You know how difficult it is to actually come up with a good title that's not been taken, that doesn't really sound like something else, that's easy to spell, and also is pretty short, because when it's reduced down on a box size on Amazon or websites, you know, it's that kind of thing. So, you know, we had a bit of fun about that. Yeah, so it was really cool just to see him and thank him for his review. Yeah, so he seemed happy to talk to me. You know, he gave me time, whereas before he's not really given me too much time because he's, you know, he's busy. I like the name. He goes, yeah, I like the name Guildlands as well. It just sums everything up. Because, you know, I think when you come up with games, well, you know, for game books as well, Jonathan and Jam and anyone else that writes, you want to come up with a name that sort of sums up the game if you can. So Guildlands seems to do that, and it's snappy. So you're all guilds and you're creating a land, you know. Got 7 kings, Christine. Got Stephen King's Christine and Boris Karloff's Frankenstein for 180 Taiwanese, £4. That is bargain hunting for Halloween. Can't wait to watch them on Apple TV later. You know your bargains, don't you, Lerin? You always seem to get good deals. Yeah, so that was really nice chatting to Tom. And then Z Garcia and Carmel. Is that her name? Carmela? I've forgotten her name now. But Z was there and also Carmel was there. So I had a chat with them, did a selfie with them as well. So, and it's just really nice. Again, had a little chat with them. I've known Z longer than I have Carmel. That's the first time I met her because she was relatively new to the channel. Because Z Garcia is one of the original ones, along with Sam Healy. And I know them way back, at least 10 years, when I did the Bottled Imp with Julian, and we went and we would go around interviewing people, and we interviewed Tom, we interviewed Z, and we interviewed Sam as well. So Z, out of all of them, I think Z remembers me most. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I've done more interviews with him. But so he hadn't played Guildlands, but he said, yeah, he's looking forward to playing it. So that'd be cool. It'd be cool if he played it as well. Maybe he'd want to do a review, but I guess you don't double up on reviews because that would be a bit of a waste. Yeah, so Apple routinely rotates classic films. OAC to collector's prices. Got Naked Gun for £2.25 last week. Now it costs £15. Oh wow! So you watched out for the old bargains there. Clever. Yeah, so that was really nice. I happened to bump into Eric Summoner, who's another part of the Dice Tower. Just had a chat with him. Forgot to take a selfie. And Chris Yee, who's another reviewer. He's one of the newer ones. Bumped into him, like before the public was there. Had a little chat with him. Again, forgot to take a selfie. Bumped into Adam Porter. That was a good highlight as well. He is the co-designer of Emberheart, and he's had about 10 games already published. And he's Adam in Wales. So I've been watching his design channel and trying to get hints and tips on how to design games. He does really good videos. And again, I just bumped into him before the public, just walking around the halls, and I went, "Oh, Adam, how's it going?" You know, congratulated him on his game, mentioned my game. He did say he might swing around the stand to play it if he had time. It didn't get time. So I did get a selfie with him, posted it up, and he actually commented saying, "Oh, it's lovely to meet you. So I didn't get around to playing your game." And I went, "No worries, maybe UK games." Because I think, you know, when other designers play your game, you kind of want them to like it. You know, you want to go, "What do you think? What do you think? You know, did we do good?" So I did. Hopefully, I didn't come across too much as a little fanboy. I think I held my own there. I went, "Yeah, well, I'm a designer as well, actually. Don't you know?" Yeah, no, it was really cool. What else? Oh, and the other thing was, I did have a few pitch meetings, which was really cool for Devilish Deaths. Did have some pitch meetings for Devilish Deaths. And That they went well. They went really well, actually. So one company, though, the first pitch meeting I had, I won't say who it was, but I knew I couldn't pitch it on the stand, and because I'd emailed them only 3 weeks before, and they didn't have any slot spaces left on their stand, so I said, well, let's just go find an open table, you know, where people eat. And the only place we could find was outside. So, of course, as soon as I opened the box, like, the rules flew off, some of the cards flew off, and the guy just went, that's all right, I'll get them. So the guy I'm meant to be pitching to was scrabbling around on the floor picking up all my cards. And I was like, it was kind of funny, though. It was funny. We both laughed, and that sort of broke the ice. That broke the tension of a pitch meeting. So that was fun. And I did say halfway through, because every now and again, you know, the wind might float, you know, just take one of the cards away. So I was kind of putting my elbows on everything to stop it flying away. And then I did say, I said, you know, when you like plan for pitch meetings and prepare, yeah, I didn't put wind down as one thing I had to think about. So now I'm prepared. I now plan in all weather conditions. So I bring an umbrella if it's raining. So it's just one of those things. Anyway, so that went really well. They've asked for a physical prototype, so I'll be sending that off next week to them, because he does want to play it, so he was very interested. And they were looking for a murder mystery game, you know, as part of their range. So the timing seems to be really beautiful for them. So if it comes off, that'll be amazing. I'll be massively happy. So I'm going to send that to them. Hopefully they'll play test it, you know, and they'll play a full game. And and we'll just see what happens. Yeah. I also spoke to, I think, one other company and one, like, about it that wasn't sort of pre-planned, but I happened to mention it, and they said, oh, that seems interesting. So they took details away, because I had these little envelopes made up with my business card, sell sheet, and the rules as well. So it does pay to be prepared, actually, you know, because I had these envelopes. Cause I thought, well, I don't know who's turning up. I sent out 20 emails. I got a smattering handful back saying, some were like, yeah, definitely, we'll swing by. Some said, yeah, we might swing by. So I sort of had 15 of these little envelopes to give out, you know, and I'm glad I did, because I got talking to other people that I hadn't spoken to about the game and said, oh, that sounds interesting. Can we have a sell sheet? So I was like, yeah, okay. So you never know. That's what I mean by networking. So I've only just cottoned on to the importance of networking and chatting. So there we go. It was amazing. If you do get the chance to go to Spiel Essen, I would totally recommend it. The flight's an hour and a half. I don't know how much it costs, because, you know, luckily for me, Outset paid for it. But yeah, and if it's 4 days, there's no way you could do everything. So you plan. I would plan ahead your visit, or just turn up and go, right, let's just see what we can find. Whereas I think UK games, you can squeeze it all in 4 days. I mean, you know, not fully. And Gen Con you certainly can't either. But leaving us put here, T-minus 17 minutes till we board the plane with Bruce Lee's Tan Long, literally Chinese dragon, to fight Masofisai. Don't know how you pronounce that. Oh, mafioso. There you go. I don't think I've ever seen that word written down. Mafiosi in hippie era Rome. Sounds fantastic. Well, I'm going to wrap it up soon anyway. So I would thoroughly recommend Essen, especially if you're a designer. If you're a board game designer, I feel like companies might be more open to pitching in Essen maybe than anywhere else. Obviously, I might be wrong because I'm very new to this, but it just seems like there's a lot of business going on, you know. Publisher to publisher, manufacturer to manufacturer, publisher to manufacturer, you know, designer to publisher, maybe designer to designer. You know, it just seemed like there was a lot going on. People were meeting up and having lots of meetings, which was great. What I was going to say, I think that's it for now. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching, and for all your comments. It's always lovely to see you guys again. And thank you for listening to me rambling on. Wednesday is going to be the next live stream where we will do part 2. I know it's been a while, but we'll do part 2, Where Shadows Fail. It's a Shadow Thief adventure by David Lowry, published by Savage Realms Game Books. Who's the artist on this? Cover work by Keith Williams, interior artwork and illustrations by Toa Mashudue, character log sheet by Troy Schema. Don't know how you pronounce that. Interior artwork. Yeah, so it was that. Yeah, there we go. So thank you very much, Lirin. Have a lovely rest of the day, everybody. Enjoy your films, Lirin. Thank you, Jam. Good luck with your Kickstarter. Remember to check out Jam's Kickstarter. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Martha. Thank you, Sally. Thank you, Spellsing. And thank you, Danu. It's all been great. You are amazing. And yeah, check us out this Wednesday, 7 p.m. UK time, where we're going to do part 2. Thank you, yes. Before Murder Mystery, I'm going to buy some cough sweets, but I have got some Lem Sips, so I will be necking that. Plus, I've got to learn my lines, actually. Luckily, I've only got 5 scenes, but I've got to learn them. Anyway, thank you so much, everybody. Good night, yes, good night, one and all. And remember, where is it? May your thieving... Well, they go to plan. May your thieving never been caught. It's been a while. Take care, everybody. Bye.